and welcome to another episode of Wood and Work podcast. You may have noticed if you're watching this on YouTube, the setup's a bit different to normal. It looks a bit strange. Well, the reason for that is Josh has actually come over from Australia to the UK to visit some family and friends over the Christmas period. He very kindly drove all the way up here, so here he is in person. Josh.
How you doing?
Nice to see you in the UK, pal.
Good to see you, mate.
So, this is the first time we've actually ever met each other. We've only ever spoke to each other via Zoom, Zencastr, or any of the sort of like social media platforms. So, how are you finding it being back in the UK, pal?
Yeah, it's been 7 years. I've been gone a long time. Come back to see family and friends because it's been such a long time. Yeah, and I'm thinking about moving back in the next year or two, but we're just here for a little taster and make a decision because I've got a missus and the kids. You know, just seeing how things go, and then yeah, have a look round and see if I could set up a workshop anywhere. A lot of things going through my head, but yeah. Yeah,
I suppose it's quite a lot, especially I suppose it's the first time a lot of your friends and family have probably even seen the children as well.
Yeah,
as well.
So it's all new to me, yeah.
And I suppose after that break, that everything's changed quite a lot dramatically, and like just general things like work sites for sure have definitely changed.
Yeah.
In the last several years, and obviously you have a very different way of doing things in Australia to the UK market.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that seems like it's going to be an interesting time for you.
It's going to be an interesting 2 years.
Because of course then, so obviously you were saying that one of the reasons why we started on this last time, was about content creating.
Yeah.
And of course you can do that anywhere in the world. You don't have to be in Australia or the UK or India or Bangladesh. You can be anywhere in the world, and we can still co-create.
Mm. Yeah. Look, what was you going to talk about? Goal setting.
Yeah.
My goal for the next 2 years, I've not structured that many goals. I just got one goal to be out of the workforce within 2 years. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and rush it but that's the target. Give myself 2 years, because if I do move back here in 2 years' time, then I want to be come back and I'm sort of financially ready and set to not depend on other people for work, and I can just go straight into all my content stuff. And
because you can just transfer that directly over, can't we?
Exactly, you know, I just get myself another workshop, and again, I can film it all on the way back, you know, the transfer, the transition, how to do it. And yeah, I wish I started 5 years ago.
I think we all sort of realise this, because obviously, I mean, I've been in the trade now for over 20 years, and this is the first time I've recently started this sort of thing also myself. I mean, in the last episode we were talking about goal setting. We said we really wanted to get into that, and I think that's quite an important thing, especially this time of year, because I think it's the 4th of January today.
Yeah.
When we're actually filming / recording this. It may not go out for another good few weeks yet, but people always make resolutions, and these resolutions are no doubt broken by the second week of January, because resolutions are so easy to pick up. I want to do this. No. Set goals.
Yeah.
And a while ago, I set my goals for my social media that I wanted to be, for me, personal channel, or work channel, that I wanted to be monetised by February, which included, the full amount of hours needed, the subscriptions, and I set myself a target of 3,000 on my Instagram account. Now, I didn't have any idea I was going to do these goals at first, and it's been a big learning process, but I smashed them within 2 months. So now I'm finding myself needing to sit down, reassess my goals,
write up new ones,
and see where we can go. And I find it's, now I've done that sort of first sort of phase of I want this, I want that. So I've set my goal for the end of December. I just missed out on it, unfortunately. I wanted 5,000. I hit just over 4,800. Almost there, just not quite, but it was a bit of an unrealistic target I'd set myself.
Yeah, and you're basically there.
And I'm nearly there. So, I think sometimes, now I'm going to sit down and I've got a better understanding of what it may be required, in the sense of what content I need to maybe use, what hashtags you have to use, what audience you want to get.
Yeah.
How do you go about setting your goals for your channel and your personal work channels?
Well, it's been going 6 months now, and my only goal when I started was just it wasn't a numbers goal. It was one post a day. That was it. Just one post a day, and I'll see where that takes me. And I've been really consistent with that. And first of all, I started on tips and tricks, and that's where a lot of my channel growth came from. But now, like, there's only so many tips and tricks that
I'm finding that out at the minute.
that
Yes.
I've got to share. So I ended up, which is where I kind of want to be, and it's a natural transition, just to film my daily builds and what I'm doing that day on that build, on that part. And yeah, it was never, the growth just happened. I just committed to one a day, and I can tell when as soon as I got inconsistent with Instagram or TikTok, I'll put another like reel or post up, and I know it's a good one, and I know I'll get naturally, 20,000, 30,000 views, but because I've missed a day, it's all
Drops off.
punishment for inconsistency. So, and I've probably missed around in 6 months 10 to 15 days, not that many, and I've watched it every time, and then it will take me another week to build the consistent numbers back up. But yeah, that was just my goal for the first 6 months, just one a day, and it was a lot of work, to be honest. But after 3 months of shooting on the phone, I can usually, like, my time's tripled, where I can just quickly film something, sound, music in, out, cut, splice. And now I'm getting a lot quicker on the phone editing, but yeah, I'm going to sort of push to more YouTube, longer form videos for the rest of the year.
It does certainly take a lot of time, like you say. I mean, I've noticed that my editing has got a lot quicker, as you say, over the last month, because I'm doing, as you know, I'm doing a little reel on Instagram every single day.
Yeah.
I tend to do a reel about 10 o'clock in the morning. I also upload as a short onto YouTube. And then I'll do what I call a normal post about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which would be something that I'm actually a piece of working on.
Yeah.
So if I made a chopping board, I'll put a picture of the chopping board up, or that sort of thing, because I find that you do certainly get rewarded for this consistent publishing of content. But YouTube Shorts for me, massive, does not work. I seem to get the odd one that does really, really well, and yet others 30, 40 views, and yet the one that gets 30, 40 views on YouTube will have 20,000 on Instagram in the same period of time. I seem to think that they are very much a different platform in the sense of your audience is different.
Yeah, I took a shorts course. I think I paid $300 for it, and a lot of that course, it was just the guy would email me back once a day, like, change this, change that, changes, and I've sort of used all them pointers from the YouTube Shorts course and transferred them to Instagram and sort of TikTok when I do things, and yeah, that's really helped me. It's the first 3 seconds that you're catching people in. That I find.
I've actually found, for me personally, that time lapses work really well for me.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones I'm getting like 3-4% engagement on the time lapse posts.
That's really good.
Whereas I'm only getting maybe 1 to 1.5% on average on a normal post, which is still classed as good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really found that the time lapse ones really seem to do well for my audience. I mean, the thing is, it's hard to know what your audience is, because of course a lot of us, as tradesmen, we follow other tradesmen.
Yeah.
Now they're not. See, the funny thing about, even though that's great and it's good following, they're not going to be buying services off us.
No, they're not.
Because they're not going to buy something they can make themselves. I mean, saying that, I did buy a couple of Christmas presents off other makers this year.
Yeah.
I could have made them myself, not a problem. But again, I just thought, support these small businesses. They're just hobbyists or whatever.
Yeah.
And there were some lovely pieces. One from Looking Good by Wendy, some lovely hedgehogs out of fir cones, and the other one was Deadwood Designs, a lovely bottle opener made out of recycled skateboards.
Yeah.
Both beautiful objects. But yeah, you sort of want those clients. And again, I think that's where YouTube differs slightly, maybe, because you're not pitching as much on YouTube. People are watching you for you.
Yeah, to get a
build something.
subscriber on YouTube, they've got to be like really time invested in you. You know, I think it's the hardest one to crack, definitely, with Instagram, TikTok, and like all the video platforms, for you to get, for someone to press subscribe. You know,
It is one thing that I've very much not asked for at all in my videos, because it's one thing that I know you need to do it. It annoys the hell out of me when people say subscribe to my channel. No, I don't want to, and that makes me not want to.
yeah,
But I mean, I do ask for likes or comments because again, that helps with the algorithm. I'm not
Yeah.
asking them for a subscribe, whereas it is the subscriptions you want. You need them subscriptions,
yeah.
because that's what then, again, with the algorithms and everything else, pushes you to new heights and everything else.
Have you tried the little subscribe flash up button, or do you get that same feeling?
No, I just don't want to be asking for a subscription. I think it's one of them that I need people to subscribe. I want to make money off. You know, I want to become a full-time content creator. But
They'll follow me if they want.
if they're going to follow me, they're going to follow me, and that brings me to actually a point that you mentioned the other day. Actually,
Yeah.
with people that follow you. Now, I actually had I've heard of quite a few other people recently as well. I had a drop of about, I think it was 50 or 60 in a day. I still had 80 new follows in it that day, but I had 50 or 60 unfollows. Now, for a small account, it's a big hit.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's a lot out of 4,000 subscribers. 50's a lot. But then you actually made a very good point, which I've then relayed to other people that have been having the same problem with Instagram, is it's better to actually have people and accounts that engage and follow you
absolutely.
than a random person that doesn't follow you or doesn't engage. Because just if someone likes your account, great. But unless they engage with your account or engage with you or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. It's better to have quality over quantity.
Definitely. The more that unfollow, the better. I think it's like taking out the trash, and this relates back for, if you look back on your account, you've had one hit like 4 or 5 million, one of your reels,
Yeah.
and then you think, then you actually take apart the video and you look at the video, and it's sometimes like my account, the same thing. It was like an ASMR video, which is like it was just a bit of chiseling. And
Oh yeah, they're quite. Yeah, I like
and
watching them.
And they're not exactly the followers you're getting where that reel's gone semi-viral or viral. They're not exactly the followers that you want.
No.
So say you get 2,000 followers, only half of them are going to be the followers that you want, and half of them in the next year will end up probably unfollowing you.
Yeah, I mean, that also when you said about the viral reel, because it's one of the silly little glue things. I think when I checked the other day, it was 4.9 million
Yes.
it's had now,
Pretty high.
which is ridiculous for such a silly little thing. And I speak to Gerald over at Rough Knuckle Custom over in the States quite a lot.
Yeah.
We have a bit of banter and seem to get on really well with him. And, he's always saying, how do you make this viral video? How do you get this viral video? And at the time, I had no idea. It just happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, great. And I was speaking to him, I think it was Christmas Eve. And he's like, oh, mate, I've still not had it. I've still not had this video. It's not working for me, mate. You don't want it.
No, it's not. You want small consistency.
I mean, I literally took a screenshot of my notification page.
Yeah.
And the whole 100 things that were there were spam from this one reel.
Oh, really?
And you're just like, you lose so much being able to see other people that you want to see or comments or whatever.
Yeah.
I know you can apply the filters, but literally, it's almost like, it's not your news feed as such, is it? Your notifications page. But the whole thing is just getting filled up with spam as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where I'm thinking, should I take this post down now? Because, yeah, great, I wanted a viral video. I thought it was the be-all and end-all. Because I think it's classed as viral.
You want the right viral video,
I mean,
like you doing one of your tip videos, like this, do this, and then if that goes viral, then you're getting all people that want to learn and have found your working tip
exactly.
amazing, and then if you get that to go viral, then that's the magic key. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I've had quite a few of my tips recently. As you know, I'm doing a little tip series at the minute. I'm going to try and continue to do so for the next all of January, really.
Yeah.
And it's weird because some of the ones I think, oh, that's complete and utter rubbish.
Yeah, and it does so well.
And
right?
it's doing really well, and you're like, what? It's. I mean, what I put up this morning was about this little box here.
Yeah.
But you obviously wouldn't have seen it. So I always say, like, if you've got any bits of rubbish and you find the odd screw or nut bolt lying around your workshop,
Yeah.
you put it in a safe place. You lose it. I have a little box that I keep on the French cleat wall, and that's where my screws go.
Oh,
All the
lovely.
bits. Brilliant. So simple. And yet, already that's doing really, really well. I'm like, and to be honest, I filmed that a while ago, and I only put it out because with you coming here today, I didn't have time to finish off the filming of the other reels.
Yeah.
And it's like, and again, it's like that you can't seem to gauge, or it's very hard to gauge what you think will do well.
Yeah. I heard on a good podcast this morning, it said after 500 posts, then you're at the point where you can gauge, alright, this is going to do well. Then you sort of gather that judgment.
That's interesting. I'm actually about 460 posts now.
Oh, well. You're almost there then.
Yeah, I'll be there by the end of the month.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, so I'm about 460. That's an interesting point, and I hadn't thought of it that way. But yeah, I mean, the other thing as well is another big mistake. I know we spoke about this in the past. We know people have done it. Don't pay for followers. That is the biggest way. I mean, why do you want a bot to follow you?
No, definitely not.
Yay, I've got a follower. They're never going to engage with you. They're never going to like your posts.
No, it's a massive mistake. I had a van life page that I was doing before on Instagram.
Van life, do you mean like a camper vanny type?
Yeah, this is where I honed my skills for Instagram. Plus, my missus helps me out with it. I spent 5 months doing it, and I was just reposting people's content. And it ended up being, too much trouble because I would get strikes because people would get annoyed because I was using their content. But that's where I honed my skills, reposting. And then I paid for followers on that, right? Because this one following thing said, yeah, if you do it, they're real followers. And then I did it, and I could immediately see there were bots. Like, the people that would follow me, private account, picture of a dog, and I was like, oh, what am I doing? And I'd get hundreds each day, and I was like, I've made a huge mistake. And ultimately, I ended up cancelling that account because I was like, I need to show my own work.
Yes.
And because I was building a van on the side, it wasn't enough content to that. And anyway, I've now branched into doing my own thing. But yeah, I've done it before. Massive mistake.
What I say, the thing is though, it's a learning mistake. I mean, everyone knows we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes every day.
Yeah.
Um,
And everyone I know who's done it, my missus knows who's done it, said they wish they never done it because it drops your engagement. It's all fake followers. It's just a number. And then if you do go to the companies and they check you up on the engagement calculator, yours is in the negative.
Exactly. So because that you pay for your 1,000 followers, great. So you need 10 of them 1,000 followers though. So that means to follow you to get you 1%.
Yeah.
So that means you then have to get your real engagement has to actually go up threefold.
Yeah.
To match your fake followers.
Yeah. So
you're just kicking yourself in the nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not worth doing. And I've done it, and it's a mistake.
Yeah. So how do you actually so going on we're talking about the goal setting, the planning, and that thing. How do you go about working out your scheduling for social media? You said you just wanted to do like one a day.
Mine's simple. Just one a day.
Do you always do it at a set time? Do you do different times?
I get up at 4:30 a.m. and I'll answer everything social media, all comments for the first till 5:30. Get ready for leave for work. I come home, get home at 4:30, and I do about an hour of shooting in the garage, and then play with the kids, and then at 8:30, then I'll do all the editing of the reels. So an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, and 2 hours in the evening. So it's about 3 hours a day, 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And that's early in the morning, and then when the kids are asleep, and then late at night when the kids are asleep.
Yeah, it's time consuming.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very, very time
I
consuming.
mean, I know for my screen time on the phone, because a lot of our phones have screen time now, I think I average just over 5 hours a day on the phone.
How do you schedule?
Well, I've started doing it recently where I've got 2 or 3 notebooks and I come up with an idea and I write down what I want ideas
Yeah.
for reels. Some of the videos, even I've not shot them yet from YouTube long form, I've got scripts written out for them. You know what my thumbnails are going to be. So, because I wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning quite often, problems with my shoulder, I'll use that time to write out things. I've played around with timings a little bit recently to find out what works for me. I found if I post a reel, my tip reel, between 10 and 11 a.m. in the morning, it performs better than any other time. And then if I then post one of my normal, say, posts or reels or carousels, which is something to do with my actual work pieces,
Yeah.
between 2 and 3 p.m. and they work. And for the last 2 weeks, I've done a reel every single day without fail in the morning. These also go to my YouTube shorts. I've done a post, I'd say 4 out of 5 days
Yeah.
in the afternoon.
And you post at the same time.
I've messed around with the times, and if I don't post them at them times, they just flop.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because my engagement on my Instagram it's quite level every day, from 9 a.m. till about 9 p.m. Drops off for a couple of hours. Mine picks up again at 2 a.m. till 6 a.m.
Yeah.
for those 4 hours. I think that's because I have, certainly from YouTube, I have very much a Indian and Korean
Yeah.
type following, so it's all to do with the time difference. So when they're getting up in the morning, it's 2 a.m. here.
Yeah.
And I think with some of the time, because I have a lot of engagement with parts of the States which are 6 hours behind. So I find it very hard when you're trying to post, because it's like when we normally film, you're 11 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, because that's right what you're saying, because YouTube's it's worldwide, whereas like the Instagram and TikTok is geo-focused. So
Yeah.
your Instagram's going to be focused in English time zones, whereas my Instagram's going to be focused on Australian time zones, but whereas YouTube is it doesn't. It's totally different. It's
Yeah.
just on world time zones.
Well, that's why I stopped, because I done it all. Once I got monetized, I checked all my things and the way to perform.
Yeah.
4 o'clock Saturday afternoon,
You
that's
do
when I
it
release.
all at once.
My YouTube long form goes out 4 o'clock on a Saturday,
Yeah.
and that performs so much better. Because otherwise, if you do it on the Sunday, even though you don't lose that sort of Saturday, you have to wait for the entire Saturday to come round again until you get them viewers back. So I found that was the prime for me. But I'll say, one thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to sit down over the next day or two. I'm going to write out my new goals, my new schedules. Because obviously I've got a lot of posts that I'm in the middle of working on, pieces and work pieces and the new workbench. So some things are going to be build videos as well as.
Yeah.
And of course I need to structure how I release these properly to get the maximise the amount of content, not the amount of content I get from that piece, but how that content is delivered
Yeah.
to the correct audience.
Maximise the value from it.
Because there's no point. I mean, that's the reason why I took a little bit of a step back from YouTube these last couple of weeks. I found myself rushing too much. Yes, my quality had got slightly better, lighting's better, audio's better, everything seems to be doing a lot better.
Yeah.
But I just found it that I just felt like I was rushing. I wasn't giving that added value for money, or not money, but that added value for content. So it's all taken a back step. I am filming again at the minute.
Yeah.
And the plan is that sort of like over the next couple of weeks, I'm really going to concentrate on getting everything sorted, edited, ready to go. A bit like we are doing with this, get a back library there for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not rushing, because some of the builds, I mean, you've done your river table recently. I'm just starting my table at the minute.
Yeah.
The pool will be getting done hopefully this weekend. It's by the time I'm done, that's another 3-month build to build all the chairs and all that. Well, there's no point rushing that. It's going to take 3 months for that piece of content to go out.
I think you've done the right thing though, where you've just completely smashed as much content as you can out there at the start. Now you've learnt everything in that 3 or 4 months or whatever. The learning curve's done. Now it's like, oh, okay, take a step back and focus on some quality rather than quantity.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing I've learned, that, and it's been a very quick and steep journey.
Yeah.
Learning curve, this. Very, very steep. But, it's, as you say, I think it's quality over quantity is a lot more important.
Yeah, people can see in the videos as well, like a couple more angles, a few more clip changes, rather than just in one solid position, rather than just firing stuff out every day. And yeah, patience as well,
Yeah, it's hard.
Slowly, it'll get better slowly.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I think I've noticed is, like, we've been speaking when we did a lot of Zoom calls beforehand, was I've now got a studio, like, directly above us, pointing down.
Yeah.
And it's improved. Obviously, those listening, you can't see. I've got a monitor on my camera I'm filming on, so we can see ourselves with the lighting in the monitor off the camera, and the quality looks a lot better. And I think those sort of things make a massive difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Just small improvements as we've been going along.
Yeah, it's very hard to get a balance as well, I find, with work life, and I mean, you've got 2 young children. So how do you find that balance? You say you do.
It's been very unbalanced at the moment. Do you know what? It's been very one-sided, where I've just been focusing so much on the content creation, and it has been on balance, and it has affected my family and relationship life. And I am going to backpedal it a bit this next 6 months and try and get the balance a bit more even, because it's not worth it in the end, because your family just gets affected, and your relationships, like, if you don't make time. And ultimately, you're still going to get to that place at the end, the end goal. You're still going to get to that complete, like, fully monetized. Might take 6 months, a year longer, but there's no point putting it all on the line, is there?
No, I mean, I work all the time, like, all the time. Woodworking is, in fact, my hobby as well as my job.
Yeah.
So if I have a day off, I come to my workshop and I'll start building stuff, and I make stuff because I like making stuff. Yeah. It's fun. I really enjoy it. But yeah, so you don't switch off, and then you're sort of thinking, when you wake up in the morning, I'm thinking that, and then, excuse me, I get back from work, and then the missus is moaning at me because I'm on my phone. Well, yeah, I am, but I'm still working. And then it's very hard for other people.
I've said the same thing.
And people find it very hard, that the fact of, if I go and get my laptop, it's classed as working. Well, no, I'm doing it on my phone, because our phones do everything.
Yeah.
But I actually had Christmas Day off and Boxing Day off. I mean, say I had Boxing Day off. I came upstairs and I had a problem with my 3D printer, and I just sort of tinkered with that for half an hour to get it working again.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't really work, but it sort of is, because they're items that
You're
I
not
am
going
selling.
to get this time off till next year, though, are you?
Probably not, no. But the missus actually said that I'd almost seem to have slowed down and chilled out a bit, not stressed, because I'm not...
You're not trying to do your job.
I'm not trying to be out on site, fitting, and then do everything else. The hassles of clients, like it or not, clients are a pain in the ass a lot of the time, because at the end of the day, they're paying for your service. You have to give them what they want. So, you're constantly having to do that, and then you're picking up materials, and it's just so much.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop, because it's like, I'm just going to do this, and I'll come upstairs to make sure that the shop's tidy for tomorrow, say at the end of the day, because I know I'm in the shop tomorrow. I'll be up here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because I'll start working.
So your 8-hour day turns into a 12-hour day, almost.
Well, I'm working from 1 in the morning till 7 in the morning, social and other stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even researching stuff, via the internet.
So what are you going
to... YouTube.
What's your balance like? Are you going to step it back a bit this year, or are you going to keep pushing forward?
Well, because I need surgery at the end of the year, I am going to have to push very much so for the next... I am going to very much have to push because I'll need 4 months in a sling from about September time.
Yeah.
So I need to make this, so this needs to become at least a source of revenue for me for that 4 month period, because I literally will not be able to use my left arm for 4 months. So I've got a few things sort of like in my mind about what I want to do.
So you're not slowing down, you're speeding up.
I'm going to have to just keep at it. But I certainly want to try and get a bit more organised. I mean, as you've probably seen from being here, I've got notepads and boards and notes everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I've just got to have them to keep myself remembering to do stuff, or I want to do this. I have an idea when I'm making a cup of tea. I have post-it notes by the kettle, write it down, stick it on the cupboard, so then I know make this or do this, or
keep it in your head.
Keep it so it's there ready for me. It's one of them that I think that I certainly want to say I want to sit down, I want to schedule everything a lot better. Schedule my social media posts going out. I've got some more software ideas I want to work on. With learning stuff and what have you.
Yeah.
Cause I want to progress. So what are the targets? I want to spend 3 hours a week learning Fusion 360.
Yeah.
It's only 3 hours. I mean, I'm up from 1 in the morning. I could do half an hour every morning, not a problem.
Yeah, it's just getting around that first initial 20 hours of the basics,
Yeah, and then I just want to.
How many hours have you spent on it so far?
I've spent about 6 on Fusion so far, but I seem to have forgotten a lot. Cause I tried to do some drawings yesterday, but I forgot how to do it.
You've just been doing YouTube tutorials, or?
I will be doing, hopefully, yeah. If I can get to that standard where I can learn it well enough.
But how have you been learning it?
I have used a couple of YouTube tutorials, but I find that none of them are woodwork specific really, which doesn't help me when I want to do woodwork.
Yeah.
There's a couple of odd little snippets, but I have to learn and try. Same with the SketchUp when I learned SketchUp.
Yeah.
But I also want to try and improve a little bit on SketchUp, and then obviously one of my ideas is down the line, I will do tutorials when I'm in a sling.
Yeah.
On Fusion 360 and SketchUp specifically for the woodworking joinery sort of cloud, if you like, because that footage isn't out there at the minute.
It's good to have it at the start of your videos as well. Everyone can see a visual.
Clients love it
as
well. You
don't want to pay people to do that. You want to.
No, clients love it. I give them a job when I do like a media unit or whatever, or an alcove unit. I'll do it on SketchUp because that's what I generally know at the minute.
Yeah.
And they go, there's your drawing, agree to it, they agree to it, and that becomes a blueprint. So when the job's done, they've got that visual, they know what it's going to look like at the end.
Yeah.
I already know that because I know how to build it.
Yeah.
But they can't always see it. And then, you also have that other thing, well, I didn't think it looked like that. Well, the drawing says it does. There's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's just so much with the balance and everything. But I think, there's just a lot. Obviously with this channel, starting this channel up, it's more work. But I think this is, as we both agreed, I think it's going to be very productive for the both of us in the way of the content we can get out of it. And
one a week, as well. It's not too much to ask, is it really?
No, but again, it's the balance of family life around that we may not do one every week, because obviously there's family commitments, birthdays, weddings, whatever they may be. So I think we just have to, as you say, one a week. If we can try and do one a week, I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
And hopefully in the near future, we said we're probably going to get another. I think the plan's to get another 4 or 5 done, at least. Then we might start releasing the channel properly, and then we'll also
have a massive cushion. Yeah.
And then we can also then get the odd guests on because we've got some amazing guests lined up. I know we've both got some good guests lined up, ready to come on the podcast once we get it up and running. I think that's a good one. I think we could call that a day for this particular episode, don't you?
I think so.
Cool. All right, mate. Thanks very much for everyone for listening and watching. We'll catch you at the next one.
Tune into the next one. See ya.